Chris Ockley here at the 2011 Missouri Track Cross Country Coaches Association Annual Clinic with a couple guys that know each other fairly well, and it's fun. Obviously, Coach Jeff Pigg, the Rogersville native,
yep.
Right, and former Mizzou runner in University of Florida, who longtime Mizzou coach, who now at the University of Georgia, where you happen to, I'm sure, spent a lot of time and money trying to recruit this guy up to Mizzou, and like I said, you know, I think it was maybe 10, 11 years ago when you presented with, and Derrick helped you out maybe here at the clinic and on a middle distance or 800 session, and I snuck in to hear and enjoy that. But when recruiting this guy and obviously leading him to national indoor, collegiate record and national titles, did you ever see at some point that he'd put the spikes away and put on the coaching hat?
I think he kind of did, because he loved the sport, and so when you see a guy with that kind of passion and have success, I think he just brings a real positive energy to the sport. I'm glad he's doing it. Obviously, he could be doing something, making a little more money, but in the end, it gets in your blood. You enjoy the sport, and I think just that connection that having with kids that are involved in it is exciting too. So you say you love the sport, but you love the kids too, and it's just a nice mix. And,
yeah.
It's, you hear people say, I've never went to work a day in my life because I don't consider it work. And,
sure.
I feel that way, and I know why he's doing what he does, and I'm glad he does it. So.
And obviously, you outstanding career at Logan Rogersville, and then All-American career at Mizzou and Florida. At what point did you say, hey, this coaching thing might be something I'd like to get into? Was that early on, or?
Yeah, you kind of hope you can do it, and then
sure.
Fortunately, when Rick McGuire, when the job was open after Coach Duzin left, and I talked with Rick about having an opportunity to do it, I think there was a point where you don't know that much about what it might be like, and then all of a sudden you start to see, man, this could be really neat.
Yeah.
And, fortunately, Rick took a chance and gave me an opportunity, and I just worked closely with him, paid close attention, and listened and learned a lot from him, and really he shaped me. I really feel like I kind of grew up with, under Rick's wing, and just really neat. But
yeah.
Kind of, I guess in some ways you could say you didn't see it coming. You hope that it would, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then leaving Mizzou and obviously having coaching Christian Goy to national title, and then Florida, and now at Georgia, and looks like you'll be getting to see this guy more often now at the SEC championships every year. But what's just brief some of the highlights, or what's anything stands out more than anything else over your coaching career, or what after working with him, what was that like when he crossed that line and won those titles?
When it's happening, it's exciting, and it was just he was good. We were just fortunate that I was to be able to coach him, because he could get to the finish line faster than anybody else. And in the end, it gave me credibility with the kids that I coached within, and still today, it's easier to coach an 800 meter because they think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Really, I just had a guy that was fast one time, so people believe in what we do.
Right,
but,
right.
And that was a highlight, obviously. I think that there's so many highlights that are things people never hear about or see.
Sure.
Success stories along the way of kids that really struggled and then they get back. And kids that just grow and develop, and whether it be I've heard kids say, I don't really ever see myself being a graduate in this place. There were a couple of guys on the team that were thinking that back in the day, and then in one specific case, Pat's got a master's degree, there's so many wonderful things. I think seeing the group come together and have success just generally is really, really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Every year, you see the kids, like I saw, Kaylee Fisher, a bunch of kids here, see them, and you're like, man, I wish I could go back. And we were kind of talking like, man, it'd be fun to get together and see these kids. And I said, it's unfair, but I still got it. The team like that. Every year, new kids come in and spend time with them. and so I've got to continue to do that kind of thing. It's fun to see those kids and that were kids anyway, and what they're doing now. That's rewarding as well. And there's so many pieces of the sport that are exciting in this job. And I think so many fond memories when I come back here. I got to visit with Rick for a while yesterday and seeing Brett become the head coach here when he was just, you knew his work ethic and passion and intelligence and just the whole package was something special, and you knew eventually that he was going to be real successful, and I'm just thrilled to see that it was recognized here by people more than Rick, because Rick knew, but and in the end that he was doing that. That's the thing that's special and exciting. So many good memories of things that happened here.
Is there any video out there of that Drake 4x8 that Derrick anchored the win? I'd sure love to see that. Obviously, it ended up on the cover of Track and Field News, but I'd sure love to see that if you guys know of anybody who has it.
I've got it.
Do you? Cool. Neat. But
it's in VHS.
Yeah, sure.
And I got some good old pictures and stuff that are pretty neat. But I think I have that one. I remember we beat was it Illinois?
Illinois, Bobby True at the line.
First year in Stanford.
Stanford the second year.
Yeah.
That one, I don't think Ben was too pleased.
Never came.
I don't think Ben was too pleased that day. They're like, I remember the Stanford guys like Stimmer and Riley or whoever it was on that team, Kate Jennings. They were like, because we kind of knew those guys. I'm like, we knew you had Derrick. Where did you get those other guys?
Yeah.
They all ran 149. And the funny thing was, Derrick only ran about 147 or 148.
Yeah.
So all the other guys ran 149. So we could never get away from those guys. That was pretty exciting.
Well, did you think he'd ever reach the fast 400 and 800 times that he had when he was a 2-miler in high school, right? I mean, that was obviously you ran the range, but I mean.
I thought it was mostly just the strength training. The natural speed that I had and the work that we were doing, both doing the cross and going outdoor season, just somehow meshed together. It worked out really well when we put a baton in my hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm still amazed that 10K NCAA cross finished at one middle at 150. That's amazing to me. That's just unbelievable. But
I was just fortunate to be able to walk back to the van after that race.
That's right.
But Derrick, what did you see to him that made you comfortable to say, hey, this is where I want to go to be and train and
I had coming out of high school in Georgia, you have if you're pretty decent, you have a slew of SEC schools within a 5-hour radius that you could have gone to. I think when I came to Missouri, I felt comfortable with the university, and then sitting down and talking with Jeff, I felt comfortable with this guy, sort of leading the charge for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't think either one of us knew kind of where we were going to go at that time, how high up the echelon we were going to go, but I think he had some thoughts on what we were going to do, but just being comfortable around him, and that was kind of one of the things that there were some great coaches that were recruiting me. I just didn't feel the off the track connection, like I felt with Jeff at the time.
Yeah.
I think there was a fit, the comfort level and a fit, and you hope the running stuff all was in some ways we'd hope, as you do with many, that you would be real successful. But there was a fit, and you kind of go into we were in the business together, and really there was a partnership there that there is with every athlete, and a relationship that there's a comfort level that we've got to have. We're going to give a guy a scholarship, and we've got to believe that they're going to, look there into the bargain. He's got to trust and believe that A, we know how to do it, and B, that we're really committed.
And live the lifestyle. I know that's one thing you've said a lot of times, that you got to be committed to living the lifestyle of being a runner.
Once when Derrick, I remember when he came to visit, I picked him up at KCI, I think, and when I knew that he was a guy I would definitely give a scholarship to and be able to have his part of the program. And I can remember when I dropped him off at the airport, he hadn't said a whole lot in regards to about whether he was coming or not. He said something about, you're just going to have to convince my mom.